Okay.
Not that there's not some good ones out there.
Okay. So the most important thing is when you're looking out for a card, if you have decent credit, read the fine print.
Read the fine print. Read what rates and what rates can change to, membership fees, annual fees. There's a lot of good cards out there and a lot of good companies.
Okay.
Again, this is not advertisement, but when a person gets a Capital One card, they better read the fine line.
Yeah.
If anybody listens to this from Capital One, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you need to read the fine line.
Definitely.
But they do give people credit that are not perfect always. So therefore, they do help people out, but you need to read the fine line on it where you don't get yourself into a bind.
Okay. Some people might want to know, some people might not even know who the credit bureaus are.
The three credit bureaus, the main credit bureaus, there's more out there in the world, but what people use are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Experian is out of Allen, Texas, about 30 minutes from our office. Equifax out of Atlanta, Georgia, and TransUnion is out of Fullerton, California. Now, all these places have satellite offices around the United States, but the main office is at these three locations. They control people's destiny in life. They are not a government office. They're a regular business. They're a multi-million-dollar business. Good credit to them is not worth any money to them.
Why is that?
Let me back up and tell you about this. I don't know if you or any of the listeners ever got a invitation in the mail to ABC Motor Company. Big repo, please seize your sale this week. All applications are accepted. And you look at your wife or your husband and go, honey, we may be able to buy a car this weekend. So you run in there thinking you're able to buy one. The people what happens, the bureaus sell your name, address, and phone number to these companies. They sell, the ones they buy have a little lower score, maybe be able to buy, but they're going to be able to charge a little more interest to them. People that have a perfect score buy a car when they feel like buying a car, and they pay the interest rate they want, where people that have a little lower score tend to run in and buy on a whim. You think we can buy this time, honey? And where a person that has good credit knows they can buy, and so they don't get excited about these things. So really, and if they want a credit card, they go online and get what they want. They just don't get excited. So people with really good credit are worth nothing to the credit bureaus. Nobody wants to send them anything because they're self-sufficient. In other words, when a person that's got a little edgy credit is at the mercy of whoever will help them out.
Yeah, and that's so true because, those with good credit, they can determine who they go meet for funding and, the interest rates and all that. But the person with not so good credit is at the whim of whoever is willing to work with them.
They're at the mercy of whoever.
Yeah.
And when you go to buy a car, not everybody goes to buy a car just because, and I'm just using that for example, just because they want a new car. Sometimes they go buy one out of necessity. They've got to have a better car to get their kids to school, get to work. People out there work 2 or 3 jobs trying to make it in life and having to pay a difference in 7% interest versus 18, 20% interest. You buy a $15,000 car, your car payment's over $100 a month higher in payments. A $150,000 home, which is hard to buy these days, but they're out there. You could have a difference in payment from interest rate of over $500 a month.
Wow.
Or even more. The average customer, the average person in the United States that is thinking about filing bankruptcy, if they had $500 more a month, they wouldn't be thinking about it. $500 more a month would change their whole income outlook. And so paying an extra $100, $200 a month for a car payment that you really can't afford, or paying an extra $400, $500, $600 for a house payment that you really can't afford, is really taking clothes off your children's back and food out of their mouth.
That's true.
It makes it where you just have to work every week just to make it, where if you get that good rate and you get to a comfortable position, there's a lot more things in life out there that you can do with that.
Yeah.
And just give it to somebody. And basically that's what you're doing. You're at their mercy.
Yeah, I know the credit bureaus, they have different scoring range. So, is there a way to, describe, how do they come across their scores and what are the differences between how they represent the scores out there?
Well, they pretty well use the same thing. They call them different things. FICO score, which is Fair Isaacs, a Beacon score. They call them different things, but they pretty well basically use the same factors. It's not all about having good credit and bad credit. Of course, good credit and bad credit, it is a big factor in it, but how long have you been in the bureau? What is your high balances? How have you paid them? there's a lot more goes into a score. People that are 800 scores are retired Exxon engineers that got an Exxon card 33 years ago and never missed a payment on it. Has had a Sears credit card for 33 years and never missed a payment. Those are your 800 scores because they've been in the system for 30 years, 25 years, never missed a payment. Not everybody's going to be an 800 score. The company, what you want to do is get as close to that 700 mark as you can. Not saying that a 640 or 650 sometimes is not a good score, but in today's economy with housing, a 640 or 650 won't get you anywhere hardly.
Yeah.
So, again, it all boils right back down to score.
So what's the range that you would say in this economy that the listeners they should be aiming for?
Well, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, that a person needs to try to get as close to that 700 score as you can or higher.
Yeah.
I think once you pass a 720, that it's a little, I don't know what you call it, not redundant, but it's once you hit about that 720, a 780 is not going to do you that much better. If you're in that 720, 730 range, you can buy anything you want at what rate you want. Okay?
Yeah.
So really and truly, peaking over that 700 is really what you want to do. You need a few lines of credit. I've seen some people just 3 or 4 lines of credit be a 700.
Oh, okay.
You got to have a minimum of 5 lines of credit to be able to be an automatic score.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Again, a 700 is not going to buy you a boat this next year. But again, not everybody's going to buy a boat. But, that's recreational stuff. That's motorcycles in a lot of cases. That's RVs. And again, not everybody's going to own a recreational vehicle. The average person in the world just wants to own a car and a house, the American dream.
Yes.
And we help people, we have a saying here, we not only repair your credit, we repair your life. Have you changed anyone's life today? When you fix somebody's credit, it truly changes people's lives. I don't really believe that a husband and wife or a person thought, I'll just go down and buy a new car. I'm not going to pay for it. I'll drive it 90 days before they repossess it, but hey, I got a new car for a while. I don't believe they did that. They truly needed what they bought, and they tried their best to make it. Things happen in life to people.
Yeah.
Jobs, loss of income, illnesses. I had a lady one time, and I won't really go into a lot, but she stood up and she said, I believe what you do is wrong. I said, well, I don't understand what you're talking about. She goes, I've worked all my life. She's the average person, the average real estate lady. She was about 70 years old, weighed 104 pounds, had a business suit on, been selling real estate for 45 years. Every town has one of those ladies. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, I've worked real hard all my life to make my credit perfect, and what you're doing is taking people that have seemed to beat the system or not paid their bills or not done the right thing, and you're helping them get back on their feet again. I said, well, let me tell you a little story. My best friend worked at a job for 21 years. When I ran car dealerships, he would come in to buy a car, and even though I made so much more money than he did, his credit was so much better than mine. He always had around a 780 score. Him and his wife lived very frugally, but they paid their bills.
Okay.
One day, that plant closed down after 21 years at work. His income went in half. So his credit suffered. So my friend shouldn't be able to buy a car or a house again because they closed the plant down. What if you have a child that is critically ill and you can't work because you're driving back and forth to Children's Hospital trying to save your child's life? That person should never be able to buy a house or a car again?
No.
I don't believe that's true. That's not the American dream. That's not the way we've built this country.
Yeah.
We've built it on getting up and helping people get back going again. And guess what? Most everybody that gets back on their feet again are going to stay good.
Yeah.
They may stump their toe again in life, but it's not always their fault. It has a lot more to do with things around them that they can't control. So I don't believe that lady was true. And after I said that in front of about the 75 people, she sat down, I got a standing ovation, and I believe that to be true. When she said it, I had a little sweat run down my forehead here, and I'm like, so all I knew to do was tell the truth.